Hey guys, so I haven't really done this with Dokkan before, but this is going to be sort of a first look slash review of the new LR androids that have been revealed for Dokkan, obviously both on the JP and global version because of the combined celebration going on right now. So they actually revealed the info on Twitter, so these are my translations that I did. Now I'm not going to go over everything just because you guys can just pause it and read everything yourself if you want to. And I'm sure most of you already know what they do. But the only issue with the translations is this should be colossal, not immense. That's the only change. So other than that, this is all correct. So just to go over how I feel about them, I think they're a really well-designed unit, and I think this is a really good utilization of the exchange mechanic. Sort of this feature where you can quote-unquote like transform. Sort of it's technically it's a transformation because you're going from Android 17 and 18, slash 16 to just Android 16. In this case, it's only able to be activated for 3 turns, and then it goes back into this form. So you sort of have to take a strategical approach to when you want to activate that ability. So I think just starting out in this form, the 17, 18, and 16 form, I think they're a really good fit for the Android category. And that's sort of what this unit is built around, is just the Android category, and then also the Android slash Cell Saga team. And I do think that I mean, I've been personally wanting a support type summonable LR for a really long time, and actually, if you guys watch my videos, I did a prediction for part 2 where I created a custom sort of Bye Guys instant transmission LR Goku, who I actually had as a support type unit. So, really happy that they went down this path, just simply due to the fact that there currently are no summonable LRs that are support characters. So, I think for the Android category, they're going to be very, very good. But that sort of brings up another point where joint forces, they're not really going to be usable because, there's not really that many Android category units on that team, except for the original LR androids, who you're not going to be, you're not going to want to run them on that team because there's about 400 trillion better units you can run on that team. And in Siblings Bond, you can run them on Siblings Bond because Physical Android 17, the Dokkan Fest exclusive, is on that team. So you can do a rotation of this LR androids plus that physical 17, and it could work out decently well. But the only problem I have with that is, let's go ahead and see if we can just bring up categories here, and then go down to Siblings Bond. The only problem with this is Gohan and Goten are the only real leader for the team. Unless you want to run this Android 18, who's not bad. She's a 120% leader for the team, HP attack and defense and the 3 key. So if you don't have Gohan and Goten, you can run her as the leader. You can run a friend Gohan and Goten, and then you can run a rotation of this guy plus Android 17 on that team, and it would work out decently well. But I think if you have Gohan and Goten, they're just always going to be better than this card. Now this card is not bad, but I just think Gohan and Goten is just better. Just, as an initial impression that I'm getting from all this stuff. So I think you would just rather run 2 main rotations of Gohan and Goten plus, X and Y as the main rotations. So I'm not sure this guy can fit super well in the Siblings Bond team, but he's definitely not a bad option for the team. But the androids plus the Android Cell Saga team are where this guy is really going to flaunt his, his true power. So, and something else too is that I think his conditions are not bad, and the reason why I say that is, yes, you do need to fall below 66%, and you do have 2 other androids category allies on your team, but this is always going to be the case. Like, you're never going to not have 2 other androids category allies on the team, and the only reason why I say that is you're going to always run them on these 2 teams. Now, this could become an issue if you're running him on Siblings Bond, because if you're running him on Siblings Bond, you're usually only going to be running this guy plus 17. I mean, I guess you could run her as leader. So I guess if you do run her as your lead with a friend, Gohan and Goten, then that would be active. But I don't think this is going to be an issue, like, pretty much ever. And then the second condition that they have, you know, like the or condition, is similar to how the Kid Chi-Chi works, where an enemy's name contains Cell, so that could be pretty much any version of Cell. It could be Cell, Cell Perfect Form, Cell First Form, Second Form, Perfect Cell, any of those. But it says excluding Cell Junior, so, you know, if you're just facing off against Cell Junior, it's not going to work. I don't really know any cases where you're just facing Cell Junior. Because usually when you're fighting against Cell Junior in Dokkan, you're fighting with like 4 Cell Juniors and like 1 like version of actual Cell himself. So this will still activate. So if you have that, then you can activate this whenever you want without you know, the HP restriction. So yeah, I mean, if you take a look at the passive, because it says medium chance to evade enemy attacks when HP is 66% or above. So that's already good. Like that's a decent part of the passive. So when they fall below 66% HP, it's not like they just lose this part of the passive and then they become bad, because then they can activate their exchange ability. I think that's a pretty well-designed part of their kit there. And then I think just in terms of numbers, I mean, I didn't do like any calculations or anything like that, but I feel like you would want to run this guy alongside of Android 17 just due to the links, because obviously you have, I think they share Infinite Energy, Android Assault, Rival Duo, Shocking Speed, Fierce Battle, and Fierce Battle. So Soul versus Soul and Legendary Power are not shared, obviously, but I do think they share 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 links. So Android Assault, Infinite Energy, Rival Duo, Shocking Speed, Fierce Battle. Yeah, so they share 5 links. That's really, really good. So you're going to want to run those 2 together as a rotation. And then I feel like if you do that, obviously they're going to be... And then I think this leader skill just by itself is probably better than this one is, but you lose out on 40% attack because if you're running 2 of this guy versus 2 of this guy. But you are gaining 40% extra defense and then 2 key if you're running 2 of this guy. So I think this guy is probably better than running 2 of him. That's just my opinion, but we'll have to test that to see how it feels. But I think if you're running a rotation of this guy and then this guy together, these LR androids are probably going to get up to an attack stat, and this is just at the rainbow level, just so you guys are aware. I feel like they probably can get up to an attack stat pretty close to 3 million, but I don't think they can actually get to 3 million. It would be a pretty difficult thing to do. I mean, maybe. I guess once you factor in like their whole kit, I guess maybe they would be able to break 3 million. I mean, I don't think they're gonna get to 4 million. That's what I'm saying, just in this form, which would be ridiculous if they did. But I think that's a really good attack stat for a support unit anyway. Like 3 million plus, or somewhere around 3 million is really good. So, plus they're also giving the 40% to the other allies on the rotation, like 17 and whoever's in the 3rd slot. So that's really good. And then once they are able to exchange into Android 16, things start to get crazy, because he gives an insane buff. He does actually lower his own HP when he uses his 18 key super attack, but he just greatly raises attack for 1 turn, which is good. So key plus 6 is good because he does lose shocking speed on his in his links when he exchanges into 16 here, which is the only link that changes. Shocking speed becomes tough as nails. Yeah, tough as nails is not really... I mean, this guy doesn't have tough as nails, so it doesn't matter. But this high chance to perform a critical hit is unconditional, which is really, really good. That's a 50% chance to perform a critical hit. So I think actually what you want to be doing with this guy... Well, it's tough to say, because if you're going to build him with crits, it could be good, but once you get to... If you ever, you know, get the opportunity to transform into Android 16, it might be a little bit wasteful, because he might just be getting critical hits anyway. So I think personally what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going more heavy on the additional attacks, because they do still lower attack and defense on both 12 and 18 keys in their pre-exchange form, and then also when they transform into 16, he does have like all these ridiculous effects on his super attacks. Obviously, let's say you get an 18 key super attack and you get an additional, it's going to be a 12 key. So greatly raising defense for 1 turn is ridiculous, especially when it's paired up with 200% defense just off the bat. And then he also lowers attack and defense still in this form. So that's really, really powerful. So I think definitely going additionals is the way to go on this guy. And just in terms of numbers, I mean, again, assuming you have this guy paired up with 17 here, I feel like he could realistic. I don't think it's going to be like, oh, 7-8 million attack. Like, it's not going to be that busted, even though just by looking at this right away, it does seem like 200% is a lot. And he's an LR, and he has like 20,000 attack when rainbowed. I still think it's probably going to be somewhere around 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, something like that, which is still really, really good. But I think if you just take a look at the LR Gohan that just came out, if you have him fully stacked up in his Super Saiyan form, he gets 170% attack and defense. I think he maxes out around 4.3 without a support, maybe like somewhere around like 4 to 4.3 million. But he does have better attack links than this guy does. So that's why I feel like this guy will be somewhere similar around there, but this greatly raised attack for 1 turn will definitely come into play. So I think maybe, yeah, 4.5 for this guy when exchanged. I don't think it's going to be like 6 million or something like that. With a support unit on rotation, maybe it would reach 6 million, but I don't think just by himself, like with 17. When he's linked up with 17, I don't think it'll be there. But defensively, that's a different story. I think he'll be somewhere probably close to 200,000 defense with just this guy and 17 on rotation next to each other. Maybe even higher than that. Maybe like 2.2, 2.3, something like that. And then once you super attack, he's going to be close to 300,000 defense with this greatly raises defense for 1 turn. And if you get an additional, that's going to shoot up even higher. But I do think with this guy, it's going to be very, very easy to get his 18 key super attack just because of the 6 key here. But it is worth noting that this is only going to last 3 turns, so that's essentially 2 rotations you get with this guy on your team. Which isn't bad because, again, this form is... It's not like this form is bad or anything. And you can choose when you want to activate this as well, the exchange mechanic. So you can basically strategically plan out when you want to do that. I assume, like, for the Legendary Goku event, you're going to want to pop that in the last phase, you know, when it's the hardest, to get the defensive buff, to get the attack buff, to finish things off as quick as possible. But in terms of how good I think they are in the scheme of, like, the LR ranking or whatever, it's hard to say. Like I was mentioning at the beginning of the video, I don't think that they're like too busted just because of the fact that they're only going to be usable to their full extent on these 2 teams right here. And that's not a bad thing, but I mean, obviously they're limited even like in their passive. The androids category allies get 2 key and then 40% attack. So I mean, it's not a bad thing that they're limiting these guys, because if they let's say this was all category allies gain key +2 and attack +40%, that would be insane. In fact, that would be too good. So I'm not upset that they're limiting them like that. But I do think that they're probably in the top 5 LRs, maybe top 10. I don't know if they're in top 5. It's tough to make that call right now. I'd have to see them performing in an actual event to make that judgment call. But I think top 10 is definitely a shoe-in for these guys because they are really, really good. Maybe like top 8 or something. I don't know. That's pretty much it. Let me know how you guys feel about them. Do you guys like the fact that they're finally making support-based LR summonable LRs? I've been asking for it for a while, so I'm pretty happy about that. Are you guys summoning? I assume most people are not, and just in terms of if I recommend people summon on this banner, I do not. Because I never recommend for people to summon on legendary banners, and while this is a top legendary summon, the other featured LR is Int LR Gohan, the original LR Gohan, and he's good, but I don't think he's even close to the level that he once was in comparison to other units that were in the game that are in the game now. So I don't think this banner is worth it, just because obviously, I mean, if you pull LR Gohan, that's good, but I feel like the EZA strength Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is, in some situations, just as good. So just keep that in mind if you're thinking about pulling on this banner. If you run the Android category and you like the Android team, then yeah, maybe you can, maybe you want to summon for this guy, but just keep in mind, legendary banner, 12 featured units usually. It could be rough trying to pull for these guys. So that's my sort of opinion on this unit. Let me know what you guys think about this sort of format of video. This is the first time I've done this for Dokkan. I usually do it for Legends because those units are a lot harder to judge just based off of their details. But yeah, let me know how you guys feel about this format of video. If you guys want me to do more of this in the future, I do enjoy discussing this sort of stuff, so let me know if you guys like this, and I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you all next time.